So there's more bacteria living in our gut than there are cells in our body. The human gut, as you guys know, has all these bacteria that can have a profound effect on your health. Can actually make you sleep better, help you have a better mood, can reduce your blood sugar. And then some of them are really bad and they increase inflammation.
To dumb it down, it's essentially like food for your gut bacteria.
That's right, for the good stuff.
But fiber, for whatever reason, feels unsexy.
GLP-1 is made by your gut. This will cause your gut to make GLP-1.
Got it.
Billions of dollars, so like companies are pumping out marketing all the time on this stuff. 99.9% of probiotics are absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
The placebo effect is a profound effect. And a lot of common allergy and skin-based autoimmune stuff starts in the gut.
I just feel like there's a different type of mentality that you kind of like bring to everything you do. Would you say that?
I don't think humans have like very well-defined limits. Like we have incredible potential.
So what do you think people early in their careers are getting wrong?
You never know why something serendipitously might happen. The world is becoming more open to more people.
Yeah.
And there's more opportunity for everyone than ever before.
One, welcome to Gut Talk.
Thank you for having me.
We are happy to have you.
We're beyond excited.
Yeah.
You are not our typical guest.
Yeah.
I don't think we live on the same sides of the internet, which is a great thing. And I say that because I do want to do a little intro. Normally we just like jump into things. But not only are you a co-founder of Supergut, but you have a few pretty big accomplishments, I'd say. One is that you're the current CEO of Hollow, an agriculture technical company. I love that you guys call yourselves the besties, but you're a member of the All In podcast.
One guy calls us the besties.
Okay,
the rest of us don't say that, but then he just keeps saying it, and everyone else says it.
There's a lot of clips saying bestie out there. Yeah. And you're also previously CEO and founder of the Climate Corporation, which you sold back in 2013.
Yeah.
You started at Google, so you've had quite a career thus far. But we're here a lot to talk about Supergut today.
Yeah.
And very excited about that. To start off, you're in Austin for South by Southwest, right?
Yep.
Supergut related, or are you doing multiple other things?
No, there's stuff we're doing, like the All In podcast is doing a show tonight.
Okay. Oh, fun.
Sweet.
And we've got some cool guests that are stopping by and doing a couple other events here.
Okay. We're going to dive into Supergut.
This place is like Podcast City, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Like I did another podcast. I've done a couple podcasts this week, but it's like very like everyone. There's a lot of podcasters here.
There are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
It's the podcast mecca.
it's such a thing.
I think it's a thing because you get inspired by a lot of people in this city. We've been able to meet like a lot of really cool people, and I feel like you kind of just feed off each other's energy and such.
Yeah.
So
That's another reason we're not leaving Austin.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just like it's got that environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really easy to find guests. Just you meet people through events, coffee shops, friends of friends. Like, just we're originally from Northern Virginia. There's not much podcasting going on there, so it works for us. And also, health is super important to us. Obviously, we got involved with Supergut. Jenna is a nutritionist, gut health focused.
Yeah.
I'm going to warn you, I barely passed like biology. So as we talk today,
I never took biology. But the internet's a great teacher.
well, yeah,
Does
but
AI and
you might disagree with me.
Yeah.
I don't think everyone's brains are wired that way. In mine, I start to just like black out when we go too in the depths. So today, when we're talking today, I won't. If I ask you to clarify, I'm not trying to be funny. Like I'm
but
really
you'll tell
trying
me,
to
you'll be
understand.
like, I'm blacking out.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't.
We'll slow down.
I don't always register it. If you just start seeing me like kind of looking confused.
Okay,
No,
easy.
I'm kidding. I think high level. Let's start.
You'll warn if she's like, okay.
I'm like, we're losing her.
Obviously, Supergut is a fiber-based company, and you were in climate and agriculture prior to Supergut.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to get involved in fiber?
So after Climate Corp, I started this incubator.
Okay.
Let's call it Foundry, where we started companies called the Production Board. And inside of the Production Board, we kind of took this like thesis-driven approach where we would do a lot of scientific research and figure out, hey, what's possible that isn't like being done today that we should be addressing because of advances in technology, particularly in food and agriculture and human health. And so there was one area where we started spending a lot of time, which is the microbiome. So, we don't really intuit the fact that everything around us is covered in microorganisms, bacteria, fungus, all over the world. Like this room is just covered.
Love it.
Right? Like in our guts, there are 40 trillion bacterial cells living in our guts doing stuff. Those cells, there's 10 trillion human cells in the whole body. So there's more bacteria living in our gut than there are cells in our body. And every one of those bacteria, like in the environment, are eating chemicals and making chemicals all the time. And it turns out that microbiome, as we call it, which is kind of all of the bacteria together, have a really profound effect on the environment they're in, and they can change stuff. So we actually started a company where we analyzed the microbiome of farmers' soil and then gave them recommendations on what to do to improve their crops.
That's pretty cool.
By looking at the microbiome.
Yeah.
And that business is called Pattern Ag. It's called Earth Optics now. And it's taken off, and it helps farmers make decisions about fertilizer and things that they could put in their soil to increase their yield, spend less. Regenerative agriculture is kind of a thing, but like, how do you maintain the health of your soil and get the bacteria in the soil to make the stuff you want them to make?
Yeah.
To make your crops bigger. And then the other area we looked at was the human gut, which there's hundreds of research papers going back probably to the 90s. So in the 90s is kind of when DNA sequencing got cheap enough that we started to be able to figure out what bacteria are in an environment. Because before that, we didn't really have the ability to do that. So DNA sequencing lets us look at the DNA of all the bacteria, and that tells us, hey, there's bacteria A, bacteria B, bacteria C. There's 10 of A, 20 of B, 30 of C. And as we started to get all that data, and then we looked at the health and the other chemical markers in the blood, we could start to realize a lot of interesting stuff. And so all these papers started to come out, call it 30 plus years ago, and then 20 years ago, and then things have really taken off in the last decade, showing that the human gut, as you guys know, has all these bacteria that can have a profound effect on your health. That there are little bacteria that some of them can actually make you sleep better. Some of them can help you have a better mood. Some of them can reduce your blood sugar. And then some of them are really bad, and they increase inflammation. They can increase your blood sugar. They can increase your, insulin resistance. So it turns out that, this understanding of what's in the microbiome kind of launches a whole bunch of ideas on hey, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do?
Yeah.
We started saying hey, one idea we had was let's measure the bacteria in people's poop, right? And use the microbiome that we read from the DNA in their poop to figure out what do they have in their gut, and then we'll give them a personalized probiotic recommendation back. And we very quickly kind of found hey, that might be a little bit tough of a business to make to scale because not everyone wants to scoop the poop and all this sort of stuff that goes on.
We get that pushback a lot.
Right? Do you guys do poop stamps?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then we started looking at also the probiotic space. And the probiotic space, there's a whole bunch of research that shows that a lot of the probiotics that are on the store shelf are not really shelf stable. Mm-hmm. So what you're eating is a pill with nothing in it. Mm-hmm. There's literally nothing in that pill.
Yeah, it never gets there.
Never, the bacteria all die. Mm-hmm. And then the second problem, so you got to keep stuff in a cold chain. Mm. The second problem is that you got to put a lot to have any sort of health effect in the probiotic. It's the typical dosage is 1/30th or 1/40th of what's really going to have an effect on your health. And the third thing is that the probiotics don't change your gut. Mm. Don't change your gut microbiome. What happens is you'll take the probiotic, all those, if you take a cold chain from a refrigerator, like a really good one, you take a lot of it, you get this great little health boost. You're oh, great, my blood chemistry looks good, I'm super healthy, got energy. But then after you stop taking it, your gut biome returns back to normal. It goes back to where it was before. Mm. And so all these papers started saying hey, it's like putting a house cat in a jungle. That's kind of my analogy. You could put a house cat in a jungle, it'll do stuff for a while, but it's not going to thrive. You're not going to get lots of house cats mating and growing. The leopard will eat the house cat, right? Bad stuff will happen. Meanwhile, in the jungle, you've got monkeys making poop. Mm-hmm. The poop makes the trees grow. Mm-hmm. The trees are kind of, where the monkeys live. Then the leopard eats the monkeys and they all survive and there's an ecosystem.
Right.
That ecosystem exists in the gut biome too. And so you can't just put one bacteria in and expect to change the gut biome. It's very hard to change it. It turns out what you can change is the prebiotics. That's where you can put something in the gut that really changes which organisms are successful and which ones die. Mm. And so it's almost hey, let's give a bunch of food to the leopards, and now the leopards will take off and they'll take over and you get more of them. And so that's why we decided to start Supergut. We said, oh my goodness, there's this ingredient called resistant starch, which has been studied like crazy, and no one built a product out of it. And so it is an absolute game changer in terms of having a permanent lasting effect in changing your gut. that's why we started the company. And so that was a couple of years ago.
Cool. Yeah, you mentioned resistant starch. For anyone who's never heard of it before, will you explain it?
Yeah, so all starch is made up of two molecules, amylose and amylopectin. Okay, like that's crazy to think because that's the same two molecules in potato starch in potatoes, in pasta, in wheat starch, in breads, in rice. Like they're all the same two molecules, amylose and amylopectin. What makes rice different from potato, different from wheat, is the way the amylose and the amylopectin are kind of stuck together. Like they make these sort of structures. And so the structures taste different and feel different in your mouth. And that's the difference between like potato and rice and wheat. Despite coming from different plants, the majority of the product is starch, amylose and amylopectin in different shapes. And amylose is this molecule that's very hard for your body to digest. It cannot break it down. Amylopectin is broken down, and that's what turns into blood sugar, and we use as energy or gets stored as fat. What resistant starch is amylose. It's just like a ton of amylose. The more amylose you have, the more resistant that starch is to being digested. And what that means is your body, your digestive juices can't break it down. But good gut bacteria can eat it. They can ferment it. And when they have that amylose, they eat a bunch of that amylose and they start to populate and you get more of them. And so all the papers have shown, and there's dozens of papers, that if you eat high amylose starch, resistant starch, you have a totally profound change in your gut bacteria. And all of the good bacteria go up and the bad bacteria go down, generally speaking. And so that's what it is. High resistant starch is the amylose component of starches that we find in food. And that's why people are like, oh, if you take rice and cool it down, you end up getting more resistant starch. What happens is all that amylopectin kind of changes into amylose. And the structure changes as it cools down. The temperature actually creates a chemical reaction that causes the amylopectin to convert into amylose. And so that's one of the ways you get resistant. And then there's other stuff like green banana has a lot of resistant starch. You can actually extract amylose from corn. You can extract amylose from rice, from wheat, from potato. So there's lots of ways you can kind of extract amylose. And that's kind of what we make with Supergut, is we get that amylose, kind of that resistant starch taken out, so you don't have to load it up with all the other carbs and all the other stuff that comes with the other products. Yeah.
So to dumb it down, it's essentially like food for your gut bacteria.
That's right, for the good stuff.
For the good stuff.
Yeah.
It's feeding the good stuff. Is it getting rid of the bad stuff, or is the idea the more good stuff you have, the less the bad stuff has a place to live?
That's right.
Okay, that's the type of science.
You got it. Yeah. It's not that hard.
No,
Right.
no.
Not to say that you can't handle the hard science, but like,
No, well, there's arguments to be said. If you look back at some of my grades.
That was exactly right, yeah.
Okay.
Because like, the bacteria live in your small intestines on the lining. So there's like a surface. There's only so much surface to live on. And so the more good stuff is growing because they're getting fed, the more the bad stuff kind of gets drowned out and goes away.
Yeah.
Now then what happens is the good stuff actually pumps out these molecules. This might be where it gets a little more complicated. Yeah. But that good bacteria makes what's called short-chain fatty acids.
Yeah.
Acetate and butyrate. And these things get absorbed through your intestines into your blood. Acetate and butyrate are so good for you when they get into your blood. Drops your blood sugar, gets rid of insulin resistance, reduces inflammation. It goes into all your cells, turns off all of those inflammatory markers, and so on. The other thing that ends up happening at that point when all this good bacteria is being made and all this short-chain fatty acid being made is your cells start to secrete a molecule that we've all heard of called GLP-1.
Yeah.
And so as that happens, as you get all that good bacteria to grow in your gut, you get GLP-1 naturally getting made in your gut. So that also suppresses appetite, reduces inflammation, reduces and that has a whole systemic effect.
And real quick, just to clarify, the short-chain fatty acids, they come from the resistant starch?
They come from the bacteria that grow that eat the resistant starch.
Got it.
So the bacteria, they spit out, because what a bacteria is, it's a little chemical factory. It's eating and making stuff all the time. So it eats the resistant starch, and then it eats the amylose, and it makes butyrate and acetate.
Got it.
And that's what it releases. So the more of it you get, the more butyrate and acetate you get in your blood.
Yeah.
And then there are people that sell supplements of butyrate and acetate. Turns out those don't get in your blood when you take them like that.
Okay.
So they get broken apart, and so they don't actually last very long.
Yeah.
But when they're made in your intestinal lining by these bacteria, they actually get into your blood.
Yeah.
And that's how you can actually get the benefit from this stuff. And that's why this is such a profound health effect.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. It's interesting. I feel like protein has had this huge moment, as do so many other products in the health world.
Yeah.
But fiber, for whatever reason, feels unsexy. Like
Yeah.
fiber, it's catching on
Yeah.
now with the increase of colon cancer at a younger age. But what do you feel like people are missing and don't understand about fiber?
Well, people just, I think there's a shift. People kind of very quickly mess up the idea of digestion,
Okay.
gut biome, and like poop. Like people are like, oh, it helps my poop soften.
Yeah.
Like that's a different problem, and there's like a whole different thing that's going on there.
Yeah.
And there's a whole different thing going on in digesting food, like having good digestion. But like increasing good bacteria or improving your gut microbiome, that's its own kind of health thing that I think we need to come back to focusing on. And honestly, the first generation of stuff, there was just a lot of bullshit in the market. Like a lot of the stuff that people were like, oh, it's so good for you, like we should all be taking probiotics. That's like billions of dollars. So like companies are pumping out marketing all the time on this stuff, saying probiotics are so good, probiotics are so good. It turns out 99.9% of probiotics are absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
They don't have anything in them. You're literally taking a pill with nothing in it. It's like whatever bacteria were in there when you made it, it died.
Yeah.
And there were so many studies, you can go pull this up, like they're all dead.
Right.
And even if they were alive, they don't actually inoculate your gut. They don't change your gut.
Right.
So they're temporary as they pass through.
Yeah.
So, it's almost like you're kind of like rewriting. Like you got to go back to the gut biome, and then you got to rewrite kind of how everyone thinks about this stuff.
Yeah.
This is kind of
Yeah.
like a silly question / point, but what do these company owners then think that they're achieving by, like, are they just greedy? Or do they actually
Yeah.
think they're doing something for the world when they
Yeah.
produce these probiotics?
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, I'd like to know
Yeah.
from your perspective.
Yeah. I'm not going to like cast a generalization on
Sure.
supplement company owners, but probably fair to say there's like a whole bunch of supplement companies that are like, I mean, look, you can go back to like snake oil salesmen on trains, like it's like as long as they're feeling good,
Yeah.
they're paying for it, they feel good about themselves. What does it matter? Like, it's not like I promised I'm going to cure cancer to them. I told them like,
Sure.
hey, this gut biome is good. This will change your, this
Right.
is a probiotic. It fixes your gut biome. I think that there's an element of like, you're not a doctor. You're not making medical product, and you have to be careful about claims you can make as a supplement company. And so many of them make kind of like soft enough claims that they don't get in trouble. And then as long as the consumer feels good, the placebo effect is a profound effect. Like if people feel like they're doing something good for themselves, they're like, dude, I'm like feeling great.
Yeah. Energy's up.
Energy's up.
Yeah.
Whoa, this is working.
Mood.
And you see, like
Right.
the placebo effect's like legit.
Right.
Totally.
Your brain has power.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also too, I think when people start taking supplements, especially for their gut,
Yeah.
they pay more attention to their poop. So maybe
Yeah.
you just weren't paying that much attention to it before, or maybe there's also, I think, a lot of people, they start taking supplements and at the same time they start eating healthier.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, was it the supplement or was it the fact that you
Yeah.
just started introducing
I'm
vegetables?
sleeping better. I'm
Right.
exercising. I'm drinking less.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And so it's
Yeah.
hard to sometimes say it's like the supplement and more so just that the supplement was a part of a massive lifestyle
Totally.
shift.
Totally.
Another thing with fiber is you explain the science of it, but can you explain the effects of fiber in just your day-to-day life?
By the way, before I do, I will
Yeah.
say one thing. Like, there are a bunch of probiotics that are like very efficacious. They do stuff. They just don't change your gut permanently. So there's a set of microbes, probiotics called VSL3. That's what it used to be called. There's a company today called Visbiome. Okay, so I have no affiliation with this company.
Sure.
But they sell cold chain 7 strains of bacteria that have been well studied in like hundreds of research papers. And it's these 7 bacterial strains in this pill. You get in a cold chain, comes to your house, and it's kept in dry ice, so everything's alive. And people have studied it to make sure everything's alive, and it is. And it's ultra high dose. It's like 450 billion CFU, in a pill, or 125 a pill. 125, anyway, huge amount. And then people take this, and it actually can have a very significant effect in a lot of different health conditions because that good bacteria is now being forced into your gut. It's doing a bunch of good stuff. It's releasing all the good molecules, and you're getting the benefits.
Yeah.
But once you stop taking it, it kind of does a reset.
Yeah. No, I think what you explained about it's consuming the resistance starch and how you explain bacteria is like it's consuming stuff and then it's spitting out other stuff.
Yeah.
That's the change that you're explaining.
That's right.
Right.
And then it multiplies.
Right.
So all the bacteria are trying to make copies of themselves, but if they don't have food, they can't divide.
Yeah.
Now, if you eat shitty food, you eat fries,
Yep.
you're eating, even artificial sweeteners, believe it or not, they can actually feed the bad bacteria. And then the bad bacteria start to multiply. And then they take up more space. So this stuff starts to counteract a lot of the other things you might be eating that have given an advantage that are pro-inflammatory. And when I say inflammatory, it means that they're releasing some small molecule that then causes the cells in your body to release signaling molecules that say, alert, alert, bad stuff's around here. Those are like, interleukin molecules, cytokines that kind of trigger inflammatory signals through your body.
Yeah.
And the GLP-1 and the short-chain fatty acids that come out when you have the good bacteria do the opposite.
Yeah.
And they downregulate all that stuff.
I mean, I've studied the gut a lot. I do the GI map stool tests. I run them on my clients. Like, I do a lot of different things. I am learning muscle testing right now with energy testing. And like, our number one recommendation is never probiotics. Like, it's lifestyle change. It's fiber intake.
Totally.
Fiber. Like, it really is. Like, the amount of times I have a list written out for my clients where I'm like, these are the foods that you should start consuming. And sometimes I'm like, start taking Supergut.
Well, the thing we know about this is there's a threshold of efficacy. So like we can say, hey, eat a lot of fiber, but like how hard is it, do you think, to track how much fiber you're exactly eating in a day?
It's very annoying. I try to do it.
We try, right.
So with this, you could, like, the goal is 15 to 30 grams a day. So that's 3 servings of, this is 6 grams. There's another one that's got 8. And then we have a, we still have a bar product, but that's like, the goal is to get to 15 grams a day. So if you get 15 grams a day, you're taken care of on that front, and then everything else is upside. That's kind of the idea, because that's like the threshold is get to 15.
Yeah, no, I mean, I try to track my macros. I like to make sure that I'm eating a balanced lifestyle.
Yeah.
And not only is it just inconvenient and annoying, but fiber isn't looked at as one of the main things to track.
Yeah,
so it's
totally.
like, it's always on like the bottom left corner of any sort of macro tracker.
I think you're right. I think that's going to change.
Yeah.
I do think there's like so much, and in the retail business, like Walmart, Target, et cetera, that's like the number one category growth area right now is fiber.
Yeah.
And so people are distinguishing fiber to like make your stool soft, which is what fiber used to be thought of, like to your question earlier. It's like Metamucil for like old people to make soft stool, versus like fiber to change your gut biome, where there's kind of a targeted health benefit we're trying to get.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what's happening now is people are realizing that.
Yeah.
And then you'll see like things like allergies, autoimmune stuff, all of that stuff starts to go down and go away when you get on this stuff. I mean, honestly, I think you can, without taking other medicines, and I'm not going to be a doctor on this stuff, but I do think a lot of the pro-inflammatory source in a lot of common allergy and kind of skin-based autoimmune stuff starts in the gut. And when you turn this stuff down, it's like, boom, it goes. Like my daughter had eczema, okay? So she got blasted with antibiotics at some point. And doctors like, try this cream, try this thing. For years, it was like, give her all this stuff. And then I'm like, no, we're actually going to like do a gut thing. We did a gut thing, and like within 2 weeks, eczema's gone. Boom. Like it was unreal how well it worked. And I'm like, oh shit, maybe this is real. Like,
You're like, this is like a company.
This is legit. Like, and this was after we started. So I'm like, why did I not think of this before?
Yeah.
Like, why did I let the doctor give us all this bullshit when I know like there's, like, I knew she got blasted with antibiotics at one point. I'm like, I was really against it. And then I got her, on this kind of gut therapy, and it was like, boom, like how quickly it changed. And so I do think like for a lot of that, people see that health benefit.
Yeah.
So it's not about stool softening. It's like all the other pro-inflammatory stuff. And then the weight loss, because you'll like have more GLP in your blood, you'll be eating less. And you guys have probably read all the studies on the benefits of GLP-1s, but it's like you're going to have, just like reduced compulsivity. So you're not like compulsive. This is one of the most amazing things about GLP-1 is people that were drinking alcohol, gambling, like doing random purchases that they probably shouldn't have been doing. Like there's all this sort of stuff that kind of stops. Yeah. And you're like, I just don't feel like I need to do it anymore. Like there's like GLP-1 just kind of like turns that part of your brain, that reward cycle. It's like, hey, you're good.
Right.
You don't need the reward cycle right now. You're good. And so your brain kind of slows down a little bit.
Is it fair to say that if you consume more fiber, specifically resistant starches, that you could probably work through that before going on a GLP-1, or is there so much of a difference there? Because I don't think I understand.
That's not a great, like, because I don't want to be like a medical doctor.
Sure.
Like, I think the GLP-1 receptor agonist, so what a GLP-1 drug is is it's actually a peptide, a little small protein that sticks to the GLP-1 receptors in your body.
Got it.
In your brain and all the rest of your body. It's not actually GLP-1. So GLP-1 is made by your gut. This will cause your gut to make GLP-1.
Got it. They're two totally different things. I hear you.
No, they're not different. But the point is that for certain people, they need to kind of very quickly, you know, like if you're clinically obese or there's some reason why a doctor might say, hey, this could be really good for you.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of friends who have gone on GLP-1 receptor agonist therapies. And then they're like, well, it's made me feel sick. I kind of like the side effects I'm dealing with. I want to get off of it. And then it's like, that's where this can play an important role for them. It's either in place of or as part of a maintenance program or, to your point, early on instead of.
Right.
If you're just like, hey, I'm trying to lose like 10 pounds. I want to reduce my skin allergies.
Right.
Then it plays a really important role.
Yeah. No, that's helpful.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting for us is like we see it a lot in women that look just like us. And we're watching GLP-1s be used in a way to just kind of cut those last few pounds off. I'm not necessarily, I think it's a whole different category that when GLP-1s are used for people who have struggle with obesity or really need to lose a significant amount of weight.
Yeah.
But I think that part of what you're saying is like fiber almost needs like this rebrand, and we need to go back to the beginning to understand like it's not just a stool softener. There's so much more to it. And I think if more people understood that, then they wouldn't necessarily run to maybe more extreme
pharmaceutical stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Which is kind of like our whole.
We're in this skinny epidemic, right? Where girls, women our age really want to be super skinny. And like, it's really sad. But once they saw that GLP-1 come in, I mean, people took full advantage of it.
Yeah.
I think it's a problem that's plaguing because there's something to say about just like balancing blood sugar, eating more fiber, taking care of your gut health. And like naturally, like we saw it with ourselves. I was 20 pounds heavier when my gut was in shambles. And once I started taking care of my digestion, I became regular and my blood sugar started to even out because I was 20 years old and my blood sugar was like going crazy. That's when I noticed the big difference. But I also feel good, like mentally, and like my clarity's great, like all of the benefits that came with just like improving my health.
I don't know, and you have a daughter.
It all goes together.
It all goes together.
I think we talk about it a lot on the podcast. We've had a lot of conversations about it because there's the next generation of girls growing up, and it's important to say like there's ways to do this. There's ways to be healthy that don't necessarily take these like pharmaceutical extreme measures. And
and the food, I mean, the food options are what makes it tough, right? So like the majority of people, like, you know, what's economically available to you, what's regionally or locally available to you. It's not like you're getting tons of fresh fruits and vegetables. And then food is tuned in such a way in the CPG companies to make it very like appealing, like beyond anything you'll have naturally. As soon as you eat a bag of Cheetos, you're like, because it's loaded with glutamate. So it gives you this like umami kick, and your brain is just like, whoa, what the hell? That is awesome. I want more. And the salt, and then and the crunch, and then you know, obviously Coca-Cola and other stuff is tuned on the sweetness, and like every one of these products is tuned in a way that it like immediately flips the switch in a way that it's very hard to like pick that over the thing that doesn't flip that switch. And like it's just like because of that, there isn't a lot of economic demand to go like make fresh fruits and vegetables available everywhere. And those of us who are cognizant of it, living in cities like Austin and San Francisco and LA and New York, and it's like, hey, there's lots of salad places all over. They do well, but that's not the case for the majority of towns in America. It's not the case for inner city places. It's not the case for rural areas. Like, it's generally quite hard to access that stuff. So look, that's easy to say and hard to figure out a solution because like, where's the money? The money's going to be like people want to eat the Cheetos and the soda and so on. But like I think that's where this can play a role is you've got to give people something that can make it easier for them where they don't have the resources to speak to a you know, dietitian or someone to help them.
Right. And Supergut, I feel like being a powder too, that just like you pour it in and it sneaks, like you can sneak it into things too. I think people are always like, well, how's the taste? How's it, like on Instagram DMs, we always like when we post it, they're like, what's the flavor like? Like I'm like, well, actually, it's hidden. Like, you can't even taste
Right. That's the point.
unflavored one. Right. And we actually love the flavors. I mean, sometimes
Yeah, they're really good.
flavors can really miss, but we love these flavors.
Yeah.
And I think that's nice, too, if it's accessible and people can purchase it at a good price point. Like,
You can have the greatest supplement in the world, and if it tastes awful, eventually I'm probably falling off the train.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the truth. Like and even what I know about health,
Right.
but no, this is it. It blends in very well, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
So credit to whoever formulated that.
Yeah, good team.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
wonder who came up with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to list out for everyone. We've talked about it. It can help improve your skin issues. It can help balance blood sugar. Can help with. I always mess up this word. Satiety.
Yeah, satiety.
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 Or
Satiety.
satiation, too.
Satiation.
Yeah.
Satiation.
Are we missing any? I don't know if that's right.
Actually, no, I
she
have no
messes up
idea.
words more than I do.
Yeah.
What are we missing on that list? Is there any big ones?
So,
Any
yeah,
other
I mean,
big ones?
well, the GLP-1 boost, so hunger, right?
Right.
That's the satiety piece.
Right.
But also sleep.
Okay.
So what ends up happening is when you have like short-chain fatty acid, butyrate production, you end up having much better sleep, deeper sleep. All those inflammatory markers coming down has a follow-on effect in different parts of your body. Helps with skin, helps with sleep, helps with energy, helps with metabolism, helps with getting exercise. So, those are the sorts of things that I think kind of follow when you make that change.
We were looking into you, doing our research.
Yeah.
And you do a lot. You do a lot really well. You've had a lot of successful companies. You have a very successful podcast, but you're clearly into your own health. So we want to pick your brain a little bit.
I drank a lot of tequila last night, to be honest. So, I started drinking tequila yesterday at what time was it? 4:30?
That's early to start drinking tequila.
Yeah, and then we were at the proper hotel and like midnight. with,
Okay.
drinks. It was too much.
were
And then
there
I had
the
to get up
other day,
early
yeah.
today, and I had to go to this event. I'm like, why did I do this? Because we had all these events last night.
It's a good thing we preach balance on our podcast.
Which
I'm like
tequila?
the worst person. Don't listen to me. Yeah,
no,
the all-in tequila.
I know you do the stool test.
Oh, you guys have your own tequila?
Yeah, the all-in tequila.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
It's super premium. I'll send you guys a bottle.
Yeah,
We love that.
please.
We're
We,
big
we
tequila
found the only 5-year extra añejo tequila in Mexico. So it's stored in oak barrels for over 5 years. Normally,
Sweet.
extra añejo is 3 years. Like no one keeps it around for 5 years. So we found this producer, and then we bought all of it, and then we started blending it. So that's our tequila. So
Okay.
we're kind of hanging with our tequila last night.
God, that's
You know
fair.
what?
Yeah,
It,
yeah.
that was, it was a
fair.
business.
It was a business,
Yeah.
business decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, I had to sacrifice the
Yeah.
body.
Right.
for it. Yes.
How kind of you.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, we know that you test your stool. Obviously, you've talked about that.
It's been a while.
Okay. What
been a
else
while.
do you do? I mean, I have to think that someone with as much information as you have about health, that there are some things that
It's
are
more about
your-
what I take. So
Okay.
as a vegetarian, I've started supplementing more with omega-3s.
Okay.
And then I also do, I think vitamin D3 supplements are probably underused.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3 to 5,000 IUs a day. So I'm usually 3,000 IUs a day in vitamin D3.
Okay.
So those are kind of two things that I'm pretty strong on.
Yeah.
And then that's it for I think if you're if you want to boost energy and you're kind of a male getting north of 40, ubiquinol is kind of the best. Coenzyme Q10 is this other supplement that. But coenzyme Q10, it's mitochondrial energy access, but it's a big molecule, so not a lot of it gets into the mitochondria. But ubiquinol is actually a reduced form, so the molecule is much smaller. So it actually get in your cell, get into the mitochondria. And so ubiquinol I really like.
Okay.
I think the NAD supplements have good kind of efficacy and data.
Yeah. Did you do an IV this morning?
No.
After all you just
Well, I
Went right
went
into
down to
the
the bar at the hotel.
no.
For more tequila?
I actually wanted to get a coffee, and so I'm at the bar. I'm I'll order a coffee, and the lady's and she's like, "How you doing?" I'm just I had too much tequila. It's just not good. And then she's like, "Let me make you my hangover remedy." So she took a glass and she put a handful of salt,
Okay.
so much salt. I was like, "What the hell are you doing?" She's like, trust me. This is the right thing to do. Handful of salt, and then a whole bunch of lemon juice, and then sparkling water.
Okay.
And it kicked me in. It was very good.
Really?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we talked about this earlier, the placebo effect. You don't
Yeah,
know
he's
if
like,
it-
I'm good as new.
I'm not advising, but
Right.
yeah.
With
yeah.
you being so busy, are there things
Yeah.
that you do you get enough sleep?
I think 7 hours. So
Okay.
there's some interesting studies now that show there's one study I was just looking at the other day that actually showed 7 hours sleep's kind of generally ideal. Everyone's a little bit different. But if you get too much sleep, it can actually be detrimental to your health. And if you get too little sleep, detrimental. Do you get too much or too little?
She's a
I
big
love
sleeper.
sleep.
Yeah, how much do you sleep?
I mean, 8 hours.
Well,
By the way, LeBron James famous for like sleeping like 12 to 16 hours sometimes. Like he'll like, but he's like legit destroying his body.
Right.
I was gonna say
think
he's like probably chronically tired.
He's
Right.
but like, so there's a recovery relationship.
Yeah.
So one of the worst things you can do for your body is exercise and not sleep enough.
Okay.
So if you exercise and don't sleep, you're actually causing more harm to your body. It's worse for you than the benefit you get from the exercise. That was a study that just came out this week.
That's wild.
Super interesting. So
Yeah.
you've got to lock in 7 hours sleep if you're going to exercise.
Okay. Which we do. We lift weights, so like we need to
Yeah.
recover.
Well,
Yeah.
I just turned her into a morning person.
Yeah.
How'd you
Because
do that?
force.
Yeah.
Or you just woke her up?
Yeah.
Okay, you just like wake
She's
up.
she's a drill sergeant. Like
I
she
played
D1
softball in college,
Okay.
and so I am a firm believer that you can, if you start your day early, you just get so much more done. And I mean, are you an early riser?
How, or like 6:30?
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, 6:37.
Yeah.
We've been 6 trying
Well,
to be
because
6.
you can't, when you create a new habit, you have to like really go for it,
Yeah.
and not like, oh, let's be lax. No, I'm the older sister. I'm kicking
Right.
her into gear. But no, she's a big sleeper. She's like an
The-
8.5 hour.
The hardest thing for me is like getting up early and getting the exercise. But when I do, it's a profound effect on my health.
Well, we go to the gym first.
That's
thing.
exactly
That's the move.
what. Yeah.
I'm telling
That's
you,
the move.
Yeah.
it is.
Besides this morning, we slept in.
For me, it's like coffee gym. That's the best way. Like it's just like you're
Really?
just locked in.
No, coffee before gym, I can't do that.
Bad idea?
Well, for me personally,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like my coffee is like a relaxation moment. Like I want to enjoy it. I'm not dreading the gym when
He's
I'm
like-
drinking
I'm like,
coffee.
oh, I gotta get the fuck up.
yeah, it's like,
yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot about mentality on the podcast, and just Jenna is always talking about nervous system regulation. What you do, what you talk about can be very stressful. There's a lot of opinions on your podcast, on
Yeah.
your businesses. How do you manage that? Is it you're just born that way, or like what are some of your tactics?
Probably tequila.
It
There's
always
a
comes back to
theme.
tequila.
There's a theme.
I would say no. I mean, look, that's a state of mind. I think the brain, like we talked about earlier, is like very powerful, and I think you can train your brain to make your physical self different. Like you can reduce adrenaline, you can, change features of how your body is reacting to stuff if you can get your brain in tuned.
Like,
So-
are there books you read that changed
Well,
your
Yeah.
mind?
So
or-
I'll tell you. So
We need advice.
yeah.
help us.
So years ago, I read this book by the founder of the San Francisco Zen Institute called Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind.
Okay.
And it's like a compilation of all of his Dharma lectures, all the lectures he gives after meditation sessions, Zen Buddhism. And so he's got a whole section in the book on like meditation practice. There's so much meditation hoopla out there today, right? But like the fundamental, like I think wisdom of sitting Zen, just sitting Zen is the term, is best articulated in his lectures, in his book, Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, which someone put together later. And I think that when I get a good practice going, of sitting practice, just meditation, and so this isn't like using an app and getting your 10 minutes a day. There's something very different about sitting Zen and what it does to you. I think you get a profoundly different perspective that gives you an incredible ability to kind of live a more controlled life, live a more intentional life.
Yeah.
So that's a very kind of obscure set of statements.
No.
But again, like I think it could be represented well if you read the book Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. Take the time with it,
Yeah.
and then maybe sit with the practice that it kind of talks about.
Yeah.
And this is just sitting meditation
Yeah.
Right.
and realizing, there's a whole bunch of progression that you go through. First of all, just getting focus and concentration and getting absolute control, and then eventually you get this kind of what's called small mind, big mind. I wouldn't say understanding, but appreciation, which is sort of like each of our minds is part of a bigger mind. And it's profoundly relaxing.
Really?
And it's profoundly resettling. And you realize just how happy you should be in every moment and how settled you should be in your day and your life, regardless of the circumstances around you. And it's very hard to describe all of this, but you can kind of go through that. That's
No, I think
That's super.
Yeah.
we'll link it as a resource.
yeah.
Would you say, though, in one way or another, you've always just kind of been built for a lot of, like, pressure and to be able to kind of maintain this zen? Or, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I just think, I'm like, if Jill and I were to be placed in your shoes, you're jumping from event to event, you're on podcasts, you're on this, you're managing these business, like, I feel like as a 29-year-old woman, I would crumble. Like, I just feel like there's a different type of, what's the word? Mentality that you have to, that you kind of like bring to everything you do. Would you say that?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's always hard to say no and to focus. That's one of the hardest things generally in life. And it's also one of the biggest things that can drive success. So it has always and always will be an issue for me on like, what are the things I should be saying no to? What are the things I should be focusing on? And the more focus I get, the better things seem to work. That's generally true for everyone.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't kind of proclaim it as a model of success.
Okay.
I will say like there's a relative perspective that you appreciate as you kind of, like the first time you go on stage,
Yeah.
you're like, whoa, a lot of people. Second time you go on stage, maybe less. 100th time you go on stage, you don't care you're on stage anymore. It's not even a thing you think about anymore. Reps.
Yeah.
100th time you've gone through a day dealing with a million high intensity projects, you don't care anymore. It's just what you do. You know, think about a pilot. Like the first time you fly a plane, you're probably nervous as hell. And a United Airlines pilot flying back and forth across the country is like, it's my job. I do this every day. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is just what I do.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, like, everything can feel overwhelming at first, but I do think part of, like, life is developing yourself to find, I don't think humans have, like, very well-defined limits. Like, we have incredible potential. Every person has unbelievable potential. I think the majority of people, more than the majority, almost all people are probably limited in realizing their potential. And I think there's, like, social systems that keep that from happening. It's like, oh, you're a woman, you shouldn't be doing these things. That's a pressure that mentally messes with you. Or, you know, hey, you can't do this because you don't have the degree to do it. You know, or, hey, you're underfunded. Like, there's always a million reasons why social, economic stuff gets in the way. And I don't think, so I think, like, once you kind of start to realize that whatever you're being told you can't do isn't really a limitation, then you're free.
Yeah. Even I said it, I was like, as a woman, I don't know if I could be in your shoes, but the truth of the matter is I could. Yeah, I love that.
My shoes are pretty limited.
We, Jenna's 29, I'm 31. We're relatively young in our careers. I'm in corporate America. Outside of this, she does her own thing. You obviously see so many different businesses. What do you think people early in their careers are getting wrong? Is there something you see consistently throughout your week where you're like, if younger people understood this better or did this differently?
Yeah. Well, I see a lot of people not putting in the time to learn good things. So a lot of people will ruin their career. This isn't a great, because the counterexample is the right example, which is, so the statement I'm going to make, you can kind of take with a grain of salt, which is like a lot of people won't learn how to do something successfully or well first. They're like, I just want to go do it. So like for me, like early in my career, it was beneficial to work at a company like Google because I got to see kind of what worked well.
Yeah.
And there were things that worked well that I took with me and kind of went beyond. So I think that's one thing is just like take some time to get different experiences and see different things and build your own perspective on what's good and what's bad, like how to do things well, how to not do things well, before jumping into just like, because I'll see people try and do a startup for 5 years and they didn't learn anything. And the startup fails. And it's like they didn't learn anything because they didn't iterate enough, they didn't change enough, they didn't take different learnings in. They just kept trying to do the same thing over and over again. And it's like, what were you guys doing?
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing. The other one is just this point about iteration. Like, you've got to constantly be like, if things aren't working, you have to change what's going on frequently until you find something that does work. The rate at which you change things is more a predictor of success than like doing the right thing. Like,
Yeah.
And then I think the final thing is just curiosity. Like, the most successful people in the world by far are the most curious. You have to have other things too, but like every day, I want to learn new shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's just that for me is one of my drivers. Like, I just like learning new things. And so I'm constantly trying to learn new things. And then you never know why something serendipitously might happen. Where it's like, dude, I read this great paper, and that paper led to starting Supergut. And it was just this one paper that I read, and I'm like, oh, dude, like resistant starch. And I started looking up, like, where do you can buy resistant? Holy shit, no one sells resistant. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We should make a product out of resistant starch. And that's like an example. So like learning that stuff and just exposing myself to new things helped a lot.
Yeah. No, that's helpful. It's fun to have someone on the podcast that has had so much business experience, because I think one thing that I see a lot of, because there are certain people that I manage that are younger than me now, and I feel like people today lack a little bit of curiosity, just like asking good questions and trying to understand. It's like, okay, you're a lot further than me right now, so I kind of want to understand what you're doing well. I find there to be like a lack of curiosity just in general, and I think it's social media based. Like, we're fed so much information to us that we're not left leaving wanting more very often.
Yeah, and by the way, the cool thing about AI is you can have like crazy learning experiences with an AI chatbot. Like, I love going on Gemini, and I was like, I want to learn all about X, pick something. And then it tells me a summary, and I'm like, and then I ask it questions. And it's like, you've got your own like expert all the time to like ask stuff. Like, you don't need to go do market diligence anymore. You don't need to meet someone in the industry. There's still value in doing that sort of thing. But there's just so much you can learn. So if you get interested in something, even if it's just an inkling of an interest, just go ask a chatbot about it, and then ask it to give you like interesting things to read, and like just have a conversation. Like, don't fall into the AI one shot where your brain gets melted away. But like, have good like I just like learning stuff, and AI is such an incredible tool at learning now.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can't like pick up in an hour or two I don't have to like go search on the internet and then get behind a paywall and find an article. It's like filled with ads and bullshit. Like, there's some cool stuff you can learn.
Yeah.
I think it's really like an exciting time. Like, the world is becoming more open to more people.
Yeah.
And there's more opportunity for everyone than ever before.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't have that perspective.
Yeah.
Like, they see AI and they're like, it's stealing jobs. It's
dangerous.
It's, but I like this perspective. I'm with you.
Yeah. So like, I just did a whole thing yesterday and today on like being optimistic about technology and optimistic about tomorrow. Like, we've always had this view as a species, because it's built into our survival instinct, that there's something that's going to get us. Like, we're tuned for that as a species, because that's like what got us to survive on the open savanna, kept all the friggin' leopards from eating us or whatever. Right. Like, there's always something coming to get us. And so we have a natural orientation as a species in our brain to think about what could get us. And as a society, that manifests as what could be existential, meaning what could wipe us all out. So like, there was like the Black Plague, and it was like, the Black Plague's going to wipe us all out. We're all going to die. In the old days, it was like stories from the Bible. It's like, we're all going to get flood. There's going to be floods that are going to wipe us out. Or there's some mythical thing that's going to get us. And then it was like nuclear bombs were going to wipe us out. We had this big fear. In the 1970s, it was zero population growth, because we all thought, in the 60s and 70s, we all thought like population was outstripping food supply. So we were convinced that the whole earth was going to collapse. All the people were going to starve and die, because we weren't going to be able to make enough food given how many people there were on Earth. And then there was the nuclear bombs, and there was nuclear energy, and nuclear reactors were going to melt down, and we're going to get... And then it was like chemicals in our water are all going to kill us, and then it was like... on and on and on. There's always a climate change was like a good one, for a while. I think people are largely recognizing that climate change may be bad, but like, it's not like we're all going to get wiped out in a day, like, all this sort of stuff. And now it's AI. Yeah. And I think AI is like the current kind of like existential threat du jour, right? Like, what is it that is going to wipe us all? Now, another way to think about AI is it creates extraordinary possibilities. So like, think about 15 years ago. There were not a lot of people that could make money creating content on the internet, like making a podcast, doing Instagram, doing TikTok. Think about how many people in Austin are living off of doing that.
Yeah.
That did not exist 15 years ago. That technology created opportunity for people to do things that they love doing, instead of working in a factory that you wouldn't have loved doing, or working in a farm, in a field, plowing stuff by hand, or working in a corporate cubicle that you didn't want to work in, or pick your poison. Like, the evolution of work over time, everyone wants to have more freedom and do the things they love and make more money. More freedom means you can work the hours you want. You don't have to work 100 hours a week. We all used to work 100 hours a week on the farm. Then we all moved to factories. Then we all moved to corporate cubicles. And now chilling in coffee shops in Austin, right? And that's better than it used to be. And it's every generation, it's getting better and better and better in terms of lifestyle and possibilities and the things you can do. Now, imagine if every person in America had a robot. They own a robot. Robot is a manifestation of AI. It's physical AI. You put a robot in your garage. So now you can create an Etsy store or you can create a Shopify store, and that robot can make anything you want it to make, and you don't have to do any work. The robot's making bicycles, custom T-shirts. It's making Supergut. It's making hats. It's making merch. It's making books. Whatever you want the robot to make, it'll make for you. That unlocks this opportunity for everyone to kind of have an entirely different lifestyle than they have today. And that's just like one example of probably a billion we could sit here and come up with of what AI is enabling. And there's a tremendous change in what's possible for people from a lifestyle perspective. And the other thing about AI is it unlocks complex projects that we can't do today as a species. Like, if I were to tell you, like, hey, let's go to the Mars, everyone would be like, how do you do that? That's like $1 trillion, like $10 trillion. That's crazy. But AI could make that project like a couple $1 million, or like AI could let us very quickly with robots build a really cool city in the ocean, a floating city in the ocean where people could like fly to on flying cars and like live there. Like, there's all this crazy shit that's going to happen that would not have been possible before. It's going to be possible now because of AI. Like, and like everyone will start to see some of these things and be like, whoa, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like self-driving cars is crazy.
Yeah.
We were in one last night.
How crazy is that shit?
Yeah. Waymo.
Waymo. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And as much as people made a living off of Uber and whatever, like, I think everyone likes a self-driving car. It's like a good feature. It's a good experience.
Yeah.
Oh, we love them.
Saves everyone money. Yeah.
And also too, there's like a safety factor to that one. Like there
10x.
Yeah.
10x lower fatality rate.
Yeah.
Over a human driver.
Right.
So it's better for everyone. It's
error.
lower cost. It's more efficient.
Yeah.
And I give you a million other examples. So like, I think we have this like very bad framing of all technology being evil and being bad, and it's generational, always cycling. What's the bad thing that's going to wipe us out now? Everything on Netflix is all about we're all going to die. AI is going to take our jobs, going to kill us. This is that. Meanwhile, we're all like doing crazy new shit that we never did before, and we're like, dude, I was in a self-driving car. There's literally yesterday, Joby got certified for the first like flying car. There's now flying cars in LA, or like there will be in California. They're going to be all over the place. You're going to be in friggin' flying cars, dude. Like, that's like crazy sci-fi shit.
Right.
We're going to go to the friggin' moon, and we're going to live on the, like, go back and forth, vacation on the moon for a couple hours and come back. Like, crazy shit's happening.
Yeah.
And then we're all like, oh, the world sucks. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. It comes down to like the mentality that you choose to take, because you can go either route.
Dude, and you know how you change it? We just got to talk about it. Because it's all mimetic. It's memes. It's like if everyone in your social circle is complaining about AI, you don't want to be the outcast and be the asshole. It's like, what do you mean AI is awesome? Because then everyone's looking at you like, you're weird. Like, get out of here. I don't want you around here. Like, there's this like outcastedness that happens when you don't fit in with what everyone thinks.
Yeah.
And so right now, the mimetic, the meme, the standard is technology is bad, AI is bad. And it's been the case since the 1970s in the US largely. And the more people talk about technology is actually pretty friggin' awesome, the world is getting better, and we should all be excited about tomorrow. If you have not, go visit Kenya. Talk to anyone in Kenya about how crazy it is in America, and they'd be like, oh my God, that sounds like paradise. That's unbelievable. And we're here complaining. And I think like there's an aspect of this that we just need to all take responsibility for talking, like having agency around like, hey, I'm excited about tomorrow. I don't care like if you're like worried, like you can be worried, but dude, your life's getting better, so is mine.
I got down the TikTok algorithm once of the worry, and I started having like heart palpitations.
Freaking out.
Yeah. I was like,
drop the feed.
What do I need to do?
Drop the feed.
I tell her all the time, I say, our brains are not meant to process some of this information. Like, I genuinely don't believe that the way that humans were originally built, they weren't built to be taking on all these other different opinions on the screen that's addicting that we scroll through. And sometimes you just have to literally let go of the technology that can be so good and just like go touch grass.
No, I mean, all technology is good, can be bad.
Yeah.
Right.
When cars came around, they're good. They get us places faster. They're bad in that people crash them and die.
Right. Yeah.
Right. When nuclear fission came about, it was good in the sense that suddenly we have practically unlimited, like very cheap energy. It's bad in the sense you can make nuclear bombs and wipe out cities, right? Like, I mean, like,
Some major pros and cons
no,
there.
they're both a little different. Yeah, like,
Tequila can be good or bad.
Right.
tequila, always good.
Right. Except for this morning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think that's great. I appreciate you coming on the podcast today. I truthfully, I mean, I take it every day because Jenna told me about how important fiber
Yeah.
is. But you explaining the shift of understanding what people assume fiber to be versus what it actually is,
Yeah.
I think is really important.
Yeah.
Because we see that colon cancer is on the rise, and it's not to fearmonger. ABC News is reporting
Big
it.
time.
It's everywhere.
In females especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
In young females, it's like a crazy spike right now in colon cancer.
well, that's like 97% of the people that listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a.
I know.
it's
It's like we'll have probably with people knowing that you're on ours, we'll have like 40-year-old men come on and we'll look at gut talk.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you're gonna have a lot of women listening to this who obviously want to learn more about how to improve their gut health, and it's scary, these statistics that are coming
Yeah.
out.
But it makes sense when you think about the way that we
Right.
live our lives. Unless you have intention in doing something different,
Right.
it is very easy to end up in that place.
Right,
It makes
totally.
sense. Like tequila, but the fast food and just the way that life has moved so quickly that we've lost a lot of everything, the mentality behind it, the enjoyment in cooking, like everything. It's gotten so fast that we've lost a lot of the
Lost
health.
the plot.
But this is quick too. Supergut is quick. It's
Totally.
easy,
Yeah.
and so we're grateful that you stopped by today with all your
Great
South
to see you
by-
guys.
Yeah.
Great to meet you.
Yeah,
Thank you
we have
so
we have
much.
our merch. Listen
Thank
to your
you.
gut,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is very it aligns with Supergut
Let's
as well.
go.
So yeah, it's
Yes.
perfect.
Okay, trucker hat. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Hell
We're on
yeah.
stage tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Gonna use it for the thumbnail.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well,
Cool.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Dave.
appreciate
Seriously.
it.